We have some crazy new developments to share about the Canada Post strike, and some of it even took me by surprise, but it makes sense considering how long this has been going on. This is almost 4 weeks right now, and we are going to talk about it in today's video. Welcome back, everyone. This is MacCart, a channel where I usually go to garage sales, thrift stores, and places like the Goodwill bins to find things to throw onto our eBay store, which is kind of almost on a halt right now. We have been selling stuff, but a lot slower than usual for Q4, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that Canada Post is on strike, so I've had to go to other couriers, and sometimes it'll be a little bit less for shipping, a little bit more, but it's that delicate balancing act that's very difficult for the buyer and the sellers to try to find a middle room for. And honestly, I wish the strike ends soon. It looks like it may be on the decline soon, the strike, and we might be getting people back to work. But let's discuss it with some of these articles today. Union's response to latest proposals received from Canada Post. Now, the union representing striking postal workers says that it's received a response from Canada Post to its latest round of counter proposals. The Crown Corporation confirmed it had sent new proposals. The strike by more than 55,000 workers has gone on for over 3 weeks, with federal mediation paused more than a week ago as the sides were too far apart. Now, I've talked about this before, where they just basically walked away from the bargaining table because they were just that far off, and a lot of the news was that they wanted 22% raise, and they were trying to push for 11%, and it was just too far apart. So they stopped negotiating. Now it might be back on the table. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers said in a bulletin that it will review the latest proposals from Canada Post before responding through a special mediator, saying it's ready to get back to negotiations. Despite calls from the businesses community for government intervention, Ottawa has so far said it's staying out. Some of the sticking points in bargaining have included wages and how the staff are proposed an expansion into weekend delivery. And again, I've touched on this before. They want them to start working on weekends. Some other delivery services do deliver on weekends, especially Amazon, probably being the biggest one for parcels. But let's take a look at another article here. What to know as Purolator and UPS freeze shipments amid Canada Post strike. This is pretty shocking and not good news for anyone who ships out a lot of parcels around this time of year. This could get crazy. Purolator and UPS have temporarily suspended shipments from some courier companies as they face a backlog of deliveries amid the ongoing Canada Post strike. Purolator, which is actually owned by Canada Post, so that is something maybe some of you guys didn't know, that Purolator actually is owned by Canada Post. Very interesting. It might be a strategic play as well, but if you go to Canada Post and if you want like documents delivered fast, usually Purolator is the one that they push because it'll get there quicker and you get like nice tracking and stuff as well with some insurance. Now, Canada Post told Global News in an email statement on Friday that its network is currently experiencing service disruptions due to the severe weather and significant increase in volume. We recently made the decision to temporarily pause service to some select partners, including the third-party platforms, the company said. This was necessary to maintain the integrity of our network, ensure the health and safety of our employees, and allow us to prioritize critical shipments. We also had like massive snow dumps in southern Ontario as well. I think London, Ontario had a crazy snowfall.
You live in Canada without telling. Oh man.
Recently, so it also could be due to things like that as well. Purolator said it's assessing its network workload and will try to resume service as soon as possible. Couriers such as eShipper, which act as a middleman between smaller e-commerce businesses and large carriers, are among the companies temporarily barred from shipping with Purolator and UPS. So it's mostly companies that are shipping directly. So if you're like an independent person who has like an eBay store or something like that, and you're selling through that platform, you can ship through UPS, no problem. It's more like certain businesses. But it is interesting that, I mean, when I first saw that title, I kind of freaked out a bit. I was like, what? Okay, because I had some shipments to deliver out, but luckily for me, I can still deliver these packages. A notice sent from eShipper from clients and obtained by the Canada Post Canadian Press says no shipments will be processed or moved by these carriers for 48 hours starting on Wednesday. These suspensions on top of the nationwide Canada Post strike are leaving Canadians with fewer and sometimes more expensive options during the busy holiday season. Last week, the U.S. Postal Service temporarily suspended Canada Post Canada-bound mail due to the Canada Post strike. U.S. customers are being asked to refrain from mailing items to Canada until further notice. The nationwide Canada Post strike entered its fourth week on Friday with no signs of ending. Postal shutdown is costing businesses millions each day and impacting Canadians across the country. A lot of businesses are suffering, and this is nothing new. I've discussed it a lot. If you guys want to go back and check out some of my other videos that delve a little bit more deeper into that, please do. I recommend that. Now let's take a look at this article here by CP24 Toronto. Striking Canada Post workers continue annual letter tradition while also helping Toronto Food Bank. This is more of a leaving on a lighter note, something that's a little happier what's going on right now. So striking postal workers in Toronto's West End are giving their time this holiday season to bring smiles to the faces of children in the community while also helping their local food bank. Late last week, a new campaign called Spreading Christmas Cheer, bringing the community together for love, care, and giving launched at North York Harvest Food Bank. Spearheaded by Canada Post mail carrier Nathan Fahey, the initiative invites people children would like to send a letter to Santa Claus to drop it off at the food bank at the 116 Industry Street. Those who are able asked to bring along some non-perishable food to donate as well. So that's a nice positive that the strikers are doing, the Canada Post is doing together. Regardless of what's going on, this is something we can all agree is more of a positive. So I wanted to end it on a positive because I'm always ending these videos with the news on a very dark tone about what's going on with the current country's economics. Now, if you guys are not aware as well, Canadian unemployment has dropped all the way down to 6.8% recently. So it's the highest it's been since, I think, the Depression or since like the 90s. So it's a pretty bad, dark picture we have of Canadian economy, and obviously businesses maybe shutting down or going bankrupt could lead to further job losses and a further decline in GDP, but that might be a topic for a later video down the road. Let me know if you want to hear more videos about the Canadian economy, then maybe I'll start making them more and not just always talking about Canada Post, though I really like to chime in because it affects me personally, and I just find all of this fascinating. It's something like people need to know, especially on a channel like mine where I show people stuff that I get at yard sales, the Goodwill bins and thrift stores, and I usually sell those on eBay. So it's very important for me, and I hope you guys enjoy these types of videos. If you do though, subscribe to the channel and hit a like on this video. It really does help the channel out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.